It's okay?
Yes.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, members of Federation of Asian Nutrition Societies, I appreciate President Professor Hadish and moderator Dr. Limbalwan and Mrs. Kalisa for giving me this opportunity of presentation here. I'm Yoshio Fujioka, a physician from Kobe Gakuin University, a member of Japan Society of Nutrition and Food Science, and also member of Japanese Society of Atherosclerosis, Japanese Society of Hypertension, and the Government Committee of Dietary Reference Index of Japan 2020. And at first, I offer sincerest condolences to world victims of COVID-19. Today, I will introduce the history of Japanese health promoting and the problem of recent Japan diet. Before and after World War II, number one cause of death was lung tuberculosis. But in 1950, stroke got to the top. Then in 1955, Japanese government recognized non-communicable disease as the main target of National Health Promoting Plan and was named lifestyle-related diseases. And sometimes the laws about National Health Promoting Policy were determined, and now the second Health Japan 21 is going. 1982, government-led medical checkups were started for prevention for stroke and myocardial ischemia by controlling blood pressure. These policies reduce age-adjusted death rate of stroke and ischemic heart disease, but could not reduce obesity, complications of diabetes, and so on. At the same time, 8 Japanese societies of atherosclerosis, hypertension, obesity, and others together developed the disease concept and the criteria of metabolic syndrome, as I explain later. Thus, 20 and 8 government medical checkups and health guidance started for prevention of lifestyle-related diseases based on the visceral fat accumulation. Government policy. The second Health Japan 21 proposed improvement individual QoL and prevention of lifestyle-related diseases, as well as improvement of quality of social environment. These both factors are important. Next, briefly, I will explain metabolic syndrome criteria. About 30 years before, many famous medical scientists, proposed multiple risk factor accumulation syndrome, such as syndrome X by Gerald Levin, deadly cartel by Kaplan, insulin resistance syndrome by DeFronzo, and visceral fat syndrome by Matsuzawa, Japan Osaka University. These are essentially similar as glucose abnormal metabolism and visceral fat accumulation, independent of LDL cholesterol. Then WHO proposed the criteria of the metabolic syndrome based on the glucose abnormal metabolism, like diabetes, but it was somewhat inconvenient due to the include urinalysis. And 2001, ATP3 showed simple criteria, but these two criteria are characterized by an abdominal obesity is only one of the 5 factors. However, Japanese criteria in 20 and 5 were determined based on the concept of visceral fat accumulation and induced dyslipidemia, mild hypertension, mild glucose elevation. Thus, the Japanese metabolic syndrome criteria was very convenient for 20 and 8 government policy towards the reduction of obesity and complications of diabetes, because it was easy to classify the subject. This slide shows the system of medical checkup and health guidance simply. From 40 to 74 years old, subjects are given questionnaire and examination. After classified, health guidance is planned for each group of three. A group who are given intensive support, enthusiasm. A group who are motivated by advice, mild, and others only given information booklet. Standard questionnaires include past history of cardiovascular disease or risk factors, the degree of exercise, change of body weight, eating habit, and alcohol drinking. And finally, intention of improvement of lifestyle. Examination includes anthropometric data, blood pressure, blood and urinary tests. In addition, electrocardiography, eye fundoscopy. Besides the metabolic syndrome diagnostic items, blood tests include LDL cholesterol, non-HDL cholesterol, hemoglobin for anemia, and creatinine for renal dysfunction. In each item, threshold levels are determined. When level is high and necessary to medical therapy, office recommends further examination and medical treatment to subjects. If not so high, but over metabolic syndrome criteria, office direct to have a health guidance to subjects. Of note, for the health guidance, only 3 factors, including blood pressure, dyslipidemia with hypertriglyceride and low HDL cholesterol, and glucose abnormal metabolism. LDL cholesterol, non-HDL cholesterol, liver function, and anemia are not included. They are only for giving information and go to hospital or clinic. According to the Japanese metabolic syndrome criteria for metabolic syndrome in medical checkups is made with some modification about glucose and A1C level. Visceral fat accumulation estimated by waist circumference, risk factor accumulation 1 to 3, and smoking. These parameters classify subjects to intensive support, motivational support, and others. Sorry, the busy slide, but I will show some results with several slides. At first, body weight reduction, especially 3% and more by intensive support 1 year. Significantly improved systolic and diastolic blood pressure, serum lipids, including LDL and HDL cholesterol and triglyceride, plasma glucose and A1C, liver function, and uric acid. Dr. Nakao reported a comparison performed between participants in this medical checkup and health guidance, and no participants in nationwide cohort study. The number of who have improved waist circumference and BMI are more in patients. In the same study, medical checkup and health guidance significantly contribute to the improvement waist circumferences, BMI, and person numbers of livers from metabolic syndrome. Blood pressure, triglyceride, HDL cholesterol, glycohemoglobin A1C also improved by medical checkup and health guidance. In general evaluation of the project by government, executing rate, medical checkup, and 50 million, about half of national people, and gradually increase from 38% to 53%. Executing rate of health guidance also increased. Recently, about 20% of subjects received health guidance. Among these, 20% finished the 3-month assessment and 9% in total checkup subjects. Compared to 2008, in 2017, total number of metabolic syndrome and preliminary metabolic syndrome unfortunately increased 0.9% up. However, the number of persons without medical therapy were 10% down. The number of persons required health guidance were 14% down. Thus, the national project of medical checkup and health guidance system goes successfully. Next, I will suggest the good and bad problem in Japan. The Japan diet is well known to be a healthy diet, in spite of lacking of evidence of large study. Maybe cohort study can only be performed. From this condition, I can show you the merit and demerit of Japan diet. As you know, the Japan diet has well-balanced nutrition with rich legume, tofu, and fish and seaweed. Please do not confuse the Japan diet with washoku. Washoku includes oily takoyaki, okonomiyaki, and tempura. I think all members like this. Sushi is thought to be healthy with fish, but you should know that sushi contains high carbohydrate varieties. Demerits are as well known high sodium with miso soup, Japanese pickles named tsukemono, preservative seafood, and low calcium. In addition, recently, intake of cholesterol increasing. In the world, lots of diet patterns are proposed, especially many medical societies, including American Heart Association, HA, recommends a Mediterranean diet and DASH diet with much evidence. The Mediterranean diet is rich in vegetable and fruits, olive oil, but not egg and meat. Cholesterol is around 350 milligrams per day. And protein, fat, carbohydrate percentage, PFC, is about 20, 40, and 40. DASH diet is also rich in vegetable and fruits and low sodium and fat, cholesterol and 150 milligrams. PFC is about 20, 28, 53. Japan diet is low fat and close to DASH, but somewhat higher carbohydrate, much higher sodium and cholesterol, and lower potassium and calcium. As you know, DASH diet decreases the total and LDL cholesterol besides blood pressure. Religion study, Predimed study, 20 and 18 republished RCT with Mediterranean diet did not reduce microinfarction, maybe due to the high fat, but reduce stroke due to high potassium and calcium. Thus, future Japan diet should go toward low sodium and cholesterol, high potassium and calcium with keeping good balance of PFC. A recent meta-analysis of 6 cohorts in US shows that increasing dietary cholesterol causes incident CVD and all-cause mortality. In this figure of note, the most frequent cholesterol intake is 200 milligrams per day. Similarly, number of eggs is also associated with CVD and mortality. And most of frequent intake under 0.5 eggs, in other words, about 1 per 2 days. Japanese egg is very cheap, convenient, hygienic. So there are so many menus with eggs in Japan. Most of people like it. Me too. In addition, in 2013, AHA abolished the upper limit of cholesterol intake, followed by dietary reference intake of Japan 2015. They never mean that people don't have to worry about cholesterol intake, but lead the misunderstanding that it is okay to take more. Actually, intake of cholesterol gradually increasing like this to approximately 320 to 8 milligram per day. Thus, I think this is an issue to be improved in future. This slide shows the meta-analysis of the relationship between coronary artery disease and various foods by shrink shackle group. Levels of below 1 is favorable. Vegetable and fish, these spline curves go down dose dependently. That's good. Whole grains, fruits, nuts, legumes, they are also favorable. Not to say red meat, processed meat, sugar-sweetened beverage go up. Egg and dairy foods and red meat, they are good nutrition appropriate intake, but the excess intake is unfavorable. They demonstrated similar results about all-cause mortality. Thus, in future, we should propose the Japan diet with appropriate volume of egg and dairy and fruits to keep appropriate energy, fat, cholesterol, sodium, potassium, calcium. Yeah. Finally, let me introduce ISFAN 2021 Tokyo, Japan, September 14 to 19. At the opening, we programmed a Nobel Prize lecture by Professor Tasuku Honjo and WHO lecture by Naoko Yamamoto. Abstract submission will start October 12 this year. So I hope we sincerely wish COVID-19 storms calm down. Please send your abstract. And after ISFAN Tokyo, please visit Kobe and enjoy appropriate volume of Kobe beef. Thank you very much for your concern.
Right, thank you, Dr. Rimbawan, and good afternoon to all participants of this fourth series of the ISFAN webinars. And I'm delighted to share my experience or so, sort of 30 years experience in this area. And I thank, again, I'd like to thank Prof Hardinsha for the invitation. Well, unlike Professor Fujioka's presentation, I will share you something, what's happening in Malaysia that that will be useful for comparison among other countries in the region. I would talk a bit about the prevalence and the trends of obesity and NCDs. I will say something about the policies and the action plans. What are the efforts that different division in the Ministry of Health have done, plus some effort from the professional bodies, and also we'll end up with some of the barriers why we are not progressing as we should. Well, this is common to most of us, but Malaysia is unique, as you know. We have 3 different cultural ethnicity, and eating is also a culture among us, between Indian, Chinese, and Malays. The other thing that is worrying is the trends of the 24-hour food outlets and fast food restaurants. And now we can never get food without moving an inch from your homes. So these are some of the dietary practices that we are experiencing currently in Malaysia. And from the studies that, or the surveys that is done recently, we noted that there are some areas of concern. Obviously, Malaysians are not eating healthily, looking at the percentage of low intake of fruits and vegetables and high salt content food. We don't take much milk, and if you look at the children, almost half of them at least eat one fast food in a week. And this trend is actually worrying. And from a study from a colleague of mine, Professor Polan, it's clear that Malaysian, about almost 77% of Malaysians individuals do eat at least one meal outside home. So we have to be very careful on what we eat or what we consume from outside home. So now, if you look at the prevalence of obesity in adults over the years, the earlier years, the National Health Morbidity Survey were done every 10 years. So there was quite a steep increase between 1996 and 2006. But then, since then, the surveys are carried out every 5 years, and you could see that overweight in adults have somewhat level up, but obesity keep on rising. So in short, the current state of affair in Malaysia is that at least 1 in 2 or 50% of Malaysian adult population are either overweight or obese. This is quite recent data from the Institute of Public Health, which look at elderly. It's the same trend. It's a progression actually from being obese adults to obese elderly person, or older person they call it. Yeah, it's about 55% of older person above 60 is either overweight or obese. And if you look at the, sorry, I missed one slide. So children, unfortunately, it's difficult to compare the earlier results simply because of the different cutoff point used. But then if you look at the more recent studies, it's obvious that from 5 to 17 years old, there's almost 30%, or 1 in 3 of the children are either overweight or obese. For hypertension, this is also the trend. Sorry, I think it's jumping. Diabetes first, yeah. Okay. If we look at diabetes, there's a steady increase over the last 10 years or so, or 9 years or so, from 11% to about 17, 18%, yeah? So there's an 8% increase in diabetes in Malaysia. Hypertension is strange. Hypertension is a slightly downward trend for unknown hypertensive subjects, but known subjects keep on, there's still an increase. But if you total it up, it's still almost balanced out. Over the years, there's not much increase over the last 10 years. And hypercholesterolemia, this cholesterol, yes, there is a sudden drop over the last 5 years in the unknown cholesterol subjects, but there's still a 4-point increase in known subjects. So actually, that's a scenario. In short, Malaysians are actually very unhealthy lot. Okay? That's a concern that we all are facing today. With regards to policies, yes, this is policy that I got from the NCD division. Dr. Faisal shared some of the slides with me. I can share with you. It is clear that like any other policies, we only find government saying that they will be committed, not fully committed, but committed. So we hope this will go on. We need the government to be fully committed if we really want to get out of this problem. So the 5 objectives I've seen there, I just highlighted the health promoting environment. I think this, you and I, most nutritionists know, it's so also easy to tell people, to tell your patient, hey, cut down your fat, cut down your sugar. But what do you get outside? It's the environment around us that actually is creating the biggest barrier for us to have successful programs. Yeah, so now if you look at the policies documents that are available for obesity and NCDs in Malaysia, there are about 7 policies. It includes the NASPEL is for physical activity. We have smoking control, the tobacco control, cancer control program, and we have alcohol control programs. So is salt reduction strategies, and we also have a policy option for combating obesity in Malaysia. But I put the center piece there as the National Plan of Action for Nutrition, being a nutritionist, and this is a nutrition conference. Well, I think that's a lot in there that we could share, at least on the strategies and the activities. So plenty of booklet, pamphlet, name it, action plans, plenty of them around. Now, if you were to look at the National Plan of Action for Nutrition, 2016 to 2025, yeah, the goal is, of course, we want every Malaysian to be healthy, yeah, basically, optimal nutrition. And we have 3 broad objectives. One, of course, to take care of the undernourished population, the food security. But in red there, you can see it's to reduce diet-related non-communicable diseases. Yeah, but of course, I would argue that we could also put obesity under the same roof, yeah? Because as most of you would have known, obesity is now classified as a chronic relapsing disease. So, I mean, although many countries haven't adopted it yet, but there are 4 countries in Europe now, I think, that have the parliament has gone through the parliament to define obesity as a disease, thus having equal share with other NCDs in terms of management and treatment. And if you could see clearly the enabling strategies that obesity is again, so you can talk about obesity and NCDs in the same breath, basically, in terms of action needed. But having been with this plan of action for the last 30 years, I'm still very sad to say that the base of this, the foundation strategy, is still very shaky in many. I'm not too sure about other countries, but in Malaysia, it's so difficult to incorporate nutrition consideration into the policies of other ministries. So we are still haggling and working on it. And if you look closely at this NPAN 3, out of the 46 indicators, 16 plus healthy eating, 27, more than half of the indicators are related to either overweight or obesity. That means we put much emphasis on these 2 problems that we are facing today. And yeah, there is a task force to combat obesity in Malaysia. It was formed a few years ago. We presented the policy options. We categorize them into different categories and different settings. It could be physical activity of food. Yeah? So in schools, in workplaces, in general population. So there are plenty of options for the government to pick and choose which are most feasible, doable. Yeah. But we are hoping that some of the things, like one of the things that really went through was taxing SSB, for instance. That was actually done 1st July last year. We taxed sugar-sweetened beverages. And now we're looking at things like operating hours, food stalls to stop at midnight. These are some of the things. If you look at for the NCDs, there are salt strategies, reduction strategies. They use the map to monitor and to create awareness, and to partner with industries. Okay, now I'll share with you the efforts. There are two major divisions in the Ministry of Health, the NCD division and the Nutrition division. So roughly, I managed to get some of the things from Dr. Faizul, who is the key person in NCDs in Malaysia. And this is what they have been planning or doing. Yeah, it's a life course approach through a lifespan from preconception to elderly. Yeah, and there are things underneath that shows what are the areas that we could study. I would really like to see how the effect of SSB tax, which was introduced last year, there should be studies on that. And then all those guidelines for marketing, there are many guidelines that actually have been used to help the workers or nutritionists or dietitians or doctors to work on this issue, that how best could we tackle this problem in Malaysia. Now, the nutrition division, yeah, I'm very close to them, and they have done wonderful job actually over the years. They have at every age there guidelines to guide them. School canteen, healthy cafeterias, even what you eat during meetings have been monitored, could be monitored actually. And even festival, we have three major festivals: the Chinese, the Malay, Muslim, and the Indian festival. They also have guidelines what to eat during those times. So it's wonderful. Besides that, there are also efforts to get this Healthy Choice logo on food product of the same range. Yeah, this is something that we want to work closely with the industries to cut down sugar, salt, and fats in their products. Okay, if you're apps savvy, you can even work out your calorie intake during the day. These are some of the things. They also have been making effort to update the Malaysian composition database. The last one was in 1997, which is like 30 years old. So it's being updated to reflect what actually we eat nowadays, the composition of food. So beside that, professional organization like Nutrition Society of Malaysia, we have been also involved quite heavily on advocacy and to make people eat healthy and also be active. So we have a website. I think you can go through that. And these are some of the activities that have done. Many publications over the years. And Dr. Ching-Jang, the president, and he is so committed to the cause. And we are hoping that some of the things really get to the public. Actually. And then more recently, because of the COVID-19, we can't meet the public. We go on roadshows. I think some of you have attended some of the NSM roadshows over the months. Yeah. And okay, beside NSM, we also have muscle. This is specifically for obesity prevention. So we run muscle camps since 1998, actually. So we look at people who are overweight and obese and try to advise them to lose weight. Yeah, muscle camp. And more recently, we were given some grant to look at how 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 effective the use of this quarter half healthy plate, we call it. So we work with obese patients, obese subjects in the community, and we find that really uh, there were some very good success stories. But then actually, then again, if one is committed, that means if you are committed, you can reduce your weight just by eating the portion size, take care of your portion size, and move, do some exercises. Now, this is something that I thought I'd share with you, a colleague of mine, Professor Chila Tuati. She had a grant from IDRC. You know, no one has done this before, so we were looking at, you know, trying to benchmark the policies and then see what the government does, what our government are doing. And this was actually using this tool that was developed by Boyd Swinburne some time ago, where you have these domains, and okay, we may not get evidence, but we look at good practices everywhere around and see how. So if you're interested to know, this is a paper that was published 2 years ago, I think. That's the extent of implementation of food environment policy by the Malaysian government. So we really try to see, do they walk the talk, basically? Yeah, so there were 47 indicators. What we found out that none of the indicators were either very low or very high rated. Yeah, about a third. So we can say 30% of it is medium, implementation of medium, and 2/3 are still very low implementation. That's the state of affairs we are facing. The idea is there, the effort is there, but it's not enough, basically. And similarly, we had a PhD program student, William, he's still finishing up his PhD in Wollongong, to look actually at benchmarking food industries. So, and Eng have just published recently, this year, that looking at transparency and comprehensiveness of specific population nutrition commitment. So what the industry say they will do, and did they really do it? Yeah, and the conclusion from that paper against the commitment of a company were generally vague and non-specific. There, so much to improve. Yeah, from this studies, we need to get the industries working together closely. My last two slides is just to tell you this. This is from Dr. Faizul again. This is what his experience, what he learned, he says, from the past. Yeah, go for the path of least resistance. I mean, you have to define what is least resistance, but still, that, you know, perhaps less impact, he says, but it's to develop the trust first. But I think industries around us know where they can play their role. Yeah? Compromise for the middle path. Yeah. Of course, we are not going to change the formulation of Milo like that. Yeah. Creative, think out of the box. Yes. Some of the things that are happening elsewhere might not work in Malaysia. But some of the things in Malaysia may work in other countries. We don't know. We have to look at that. Be sensitive to the current global natural trends. Yeah, I mean, everyone is fighting. Every country is fighting hard to bring down the prevalence of overweight, obesity, and NCDs in their respective countries. This, my final slide, is just to share with you this. This is something that I just picked up from the World Obesity Federation publication last few months ago. Yeah, to them, these are the barriers to success and slow progress. You see, if you are obese, what will I say? Is it, who asked you to eat so much? Who are, you know, they blame the person. It's not a personal choice. Yeah? Actually, the government have to be involved. Yeah? The government shouldn't blame the public. Government must, that statement must be challenged, they say. And then believe, sorry, where's that? Finally. Believe that nothing can be done. That's another easy say. You can't do anything, you know, I mean, it's not realistic. The treatment is not going to make any difference. I think that kind of attitude should be cut or should be away from it. I mean, there's plenty of things to do, actually, if you really are serious. Reluctant of government policymakers and yeah, you see, I mean, we have many countries have even president chairing nutrition legislation or committees looking at it, but still things doesn't work. Why? We should ask the question why. How serious are they? Do they talk to each other in the first place? Sometimes ministries don't talk to other ministries. They are all in different wavelengths. Yeah, I know things. Profit, money is a concern. So is the amount of money we spend. We spend billions treating the sick. So you have to balance and check it yourself, which is more important, leading a healthier life or being sick and being a burden to your country. Yeah. Public pressure, public also have to play a role. You need to build this on. And then, of course, the last one is started by the commercial operators who perceive us as a threat to their interests. Of course, all companies would like to make money, but what we are telling them is that just don't make too much money. Share it with the rest of it. With that, I guess I've given a bird's eye view of what's happening in Malaysia. Thank you.
It is very well known that obesity and metabolic syndrome are risk factors for quite a few non-communicable diseases, such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and even cancer. But the new research have demonstrated that obesity and metabolic syndrome are risk factors for the infection of COVID-19 and its severity and mortality. So it is really a serious problem that we should face. So today, I would like to share with you the food-based dietary guideline for Taiwanese, which aims to provide the scientific basis for designing educational materials for a healthy diet in Taiwan. This dietary guideline has been prepared and developed based on the recommendation of World Health Organization. WHO recommended that the food-based dietary guideline should address particular nutritional concerns and consider customary dietary patterns, social, economic, and cultural factors, and the biological and physical environment in which the population lives. It should be consistent with relevant national policies and programs for improved food supplies and nutrition, And most importantly, the public health issues should determine the direction of dietary guideline. So we started by looking at the top 10 leading causes of death in Taiwan. These are cancers, heart diseases, pneumonia, cerebrovascular diseases, diabetes, accidents, chronic lower respiratory diseases, hypertension, kidney and liver diseases. Among these 10, at least 5 are diet-related. So, yes, indeed, the non-communicable diseases are the major health problem in Taiwan. And at least 5 of these top 10 leading causes of death are diet-related. Talking about the definition of metabolic syndrome in Taiwan, as other countries and societies, we define by having 3 or more of these 5 risk factors. Central obesity defined by the waist circumferences equal or larger than 90 centimeter for male, 80 centimeter for female. Hypertension, systolic blood pressure equal or larger than 130 millimilli Hg. That diastolic blood pressure equal or larger than 85 mmHg. HDL cholesterol lower than 40 for male, 50 for female. Fasting plasma glucose higher than 100 milligram per deciliter, and plasma triglyceride higher or equal to 150 milligram per deciliter. Based on this definition, we have found the prevalence of metabolic syndrome are about 35% for male and 26% for female. In addition, the prevalence of overweight and obesity is 52% for male and 37% for female. And you can see from the trend, it increased in the past decades. And as predicted, the prevalence of diabetes increased to about 11% for male, 8% for female. Most seriously, if we look at the mean fasting plasma glucose and BMI value of the adult population, these two mean values all exceeded the cut point of normal. And as predicted, we can see the prevalence of overweight and obesity in the past decades. Note that the definition of overweight and obesity in Taiwan is BMI larger or equal to 24 as overweight, and if it's equal or larger than 27, it is obese. The prevalence of overweight and obesity together is 30%, around 30% for school children and adolescents. So we found that the major diet nutrition related public health problems in Taiwan include half of the top 10 causes of death is related to diet nutrition. They are cancer, CVD, stroke, diabetes, and hypertension. Then half of the top 10 medicine costs of the national health insurance is for treating diet nutrition related disorders, including hypertension, hyperglycemia, and hyperlipidemia. And we have mentioned that before, the prevalence of adult overweight, obesity, and metabolic syndrome is increasing. And compared to the previous version of the dietary guide, the consumption of fruit, vegetable, and dairy are lower than recommendation. And there's a part of people have marginal nutritional status for some micronutrients. Okay, so to deal with this problem, we have developed the following 13 dietary guidelines for Taiwanese. 1, plan your daily diet according to the food groups and servings recommended in the National Food Guides. I will introduce this food guides in more detail later. Know your healthy body weight and energy needs and control the energy intake within need. Be physically active to maintain general health and fitness. Eat mostly foods of unrefined plant origin. Include servings of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, and dairy foods most days. Consume a diverse diet and prefer seasonal and local foods. Prefer intact, nutrient-dense food. Control serving size to avoid overconsumption or food wastage. Limit consumption of energy-dense, fatty, and sugary foods and beverages. Limit consumption of salty food, sauces, and preserves. Newborns should be breastfed for at least 6 months and solid food introduced when the child is ready. Limit consumption of alcoholic beverages. Do not drink alcohol during pregnancy or lactation. Pay attention to food safety. In summary, the guidelines urges to plan a balanced diet based on food guides. To prevent excessive calorie intake, recognize one's healthy body weight and energy intake level. Keep a physically active lifestyle. Avoid energy-dense foods. Control portion size and limit alcohol intake. Encourage a plant-based diet constituted by intact plant food. Emphasize nutrient-dense foods, variety and diversity, seasonal and local foods. Remind adequate intake of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts and seeds, legume products, and dairy products. Limit salt, sugar, and alcohol, breastfeeding, and food safety. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, in the last part of my talk, I will share with you our evidence-based food guide, which has been developed by a team led by Dr. Wen Han-Pan. To develop this food guide, they first designed the food guide recommendations based on various energy intake levels. They calculate and set the energy intake levels based on healthy body weight with 4 physical activity levels. Then they design portions of each food group for each energy intake level. Then they calculate nutrient adequacy using food items most consumed found in our National Nutrition and Diet Survey. Then they adjust number of portions to meet nutrient recommendation. At least must be higher than 70% of DRI. And by that time, the food groups were modified to whole grain, legumes, fish, egg, meat, dairy, vegetables, fruit, oilseeds, and nuts. Okay, this is the food guide, the educational material designed, prepared for the general public. On the cover, there's a graphic showing the 6 fruits groups: fruit, vegetable, whole grain, legume, fish, egg and meat, dairy, oil and seed. And noted that the physical activity and water has been emphasized on the graphic also. Okay, how to use this food guide? There are step 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Step 1, find your healthy body weight based on height. This is height and body weight. This is based on BMI of 22 and the normal range between 18.5 and 24. Step 2, find your daily physical activity level based on the description here as low, slightly low, moderate, or high. Step 3, find your daily energy intake level based on gender, age, activity level, and find the target of each people. Step 4, find your recommended portions of each food group based on energy intake level. For example, for a 2,000 kilocalorie per day diet, we recommend 3 bowls of whole grain, 6 servings of soy, fish, legume, egg, meat groups, 1.5 servings of dairy, 4 servings of vegetable, 3 servings of fruit. So you can see as the kilocalorie increases, not only the grain group increase, also the protein group, the dairy group, the vegetable group, and the fruits group have higher increase, higher to higher servings. Step 5, learn the food belong to each group. Then the serving size of each food group and what is the meaning of a balanced diet. Dr. Pan even designed a website for diet planning, and this is the website. Okay, on this website, one can just type in your age, your gender, your height, your weight, and your daily activity level as low, slightly low, moderate, or high. Then you click My Calorie Goal. Then this page will appear telling you your current BMI and your healthy body weight. And based on your healthy body weight, it will recommend you should take a 1,800 kilocalorie diet. And on the right side, the number of portion of each group of food will appear here. 3 bowls of whole grain, dairy, protein group, vegetable, fruit, etc. And in the end of the web page will tell you the serving size and the food included in each group. Okay, this is what I would like to share with you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rimbawan as a moderator and Prof Hardiansyah for this opportunity. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to quickly introduce myself. My name is Mury. I'm a sport nutritionist, and then it is a great honor to be given this opportunity to share information with honorable speakers and wonderful participants. So, thank you once again for the committee for inviting me. I will share my presentation. Okay. Today I would like to talk about a wellness corporate program. Sorry. A wellness corporate program models in controlling body fat and obesity in Jakarta. Okay, this is outline of this presentation. And then our background, World Health Organization show us that prevalence of overweight in the world still increase. And then in Indonesia, report that prevalence of obesity in the adult was 21.8% and overweight was 13%. While in Jakarta, the prevalence of overweight was 15%. So this is my slide. This slide I will say to you about correlation obesity with employee and then wellness program according Nobrega et al. 2016, employee wellness program contribute to counter obesity problem. Stanford et al. 2017, effective weight loss program in workplace must consider meal pattern and physical activity level. And then Australia 2017, health program in workplace is expected to reduce employee health care costs, increases productivity, and return company positive investment. This is our method. We start from 2016 to now, until now, in private sector in Indonesia. We have 15 to 300 participants, and then duration, the length of this program, 12 to 24 weeks. And then this program, sport collaboration program between professional coach or a personal trainer and personal nutritionist during this program. Okay, this is our program, our activities. We have two kind of program. We have exercise program like circuit training, high intensity interval training, functional training, floor exercise, fun aerobic, yoga, Zumba, and boot camp. And we have nutrition program, tips by infographic, and then WhatsApp group to share this program, to share tips for health each every morning. And then we have a talk show to employee. The exercise program 3 times a week, directly in office, after hours, and then by video in home. And then the duration of the program, 10 to 50 minutes, the type of exercise. Okay, this is nutrition program. We have 3 parts. The first one is education, and then consultation, and then talk show. Okay, the result of this program, we have at 2016, we have high intensity interval training program and nutrition education, 20 weeks program, and then afternoon exercise at Senayan or Gelora Bung Karno. And then 2017, we have high intensity interval training and then nutrition counseling program. The program conduct 12 weeks program, and then morning exercise at the office before start a job. Okay, and then 2018 we have video combined exercise and nutrition education, 14 weeks program, and then every day light exercise at a break time, twice a day at 10 a.m. and then 3 p.m. And then we have a program, exercise tips, and then weekly exercise and personal nutrition at 2019, but for 24 weeks program, but unfortunately stopped by COVID-19 because this program start on October. Okay, and then actually now we have ongoing program with private sector in Indonesia, in Jakarta. We have online, 100% online exercise, and then we have 12 weeks program, online exercise and personal nutritionist. And this is result of our program from 2016 to 2018. The BMI and body fat still decrease, and then that's good for the company. This is our program success rate of the program to reduce prevalence of weight loss. At 2016, we have weight loss was 75%, and then 19%, and then 83%, and then ongoing program now. The conclusion of our program, 12 weeks length exercise and nutrition program for employee at one company proved to have an impact in reducing body fat and obesity. And then companies should have exercise and nutrition program to reduce body fat and improve nutrition status of their employees with overweight and obesity. This is our program from Gizi Kebugaran. We start at 2012 in Bogor, based on community, and then we growth, focus on social media, and then focus to athlete, Indonesian athlete, and then corporate wellness program. And then now at 2018, we transform from community to a company. We create Wellness Academy Indonesia, focus in online education. This is our company business. Our business is GK Wellness Corporate, GK Wellness Academy, and then GK Product Performance, and then GK Sport Nutrition Research Center in Indonesia. Okay, I have 2 minutes left. This is our advisory board, Prof Hardinsyah from Nutrition, and then Dr. Junaidi from Sport Science, and then Prof Yufiarti from Psychology. This is our clients in Indonesia from 2014. I think that's all. Thank you, Mr. Rimbawan.